Hello and welcome to BotBox. Do I have to introduce Terrorhurtz? Well, I'll do so anyway. In its debut appearance in Series 5 of Robot Wars, Terrorhurtz was a hexagonal see-through axe-wielding robot with a blunter axe than its predecessor Kilohertz. It also would later gain some very tough front armour. Terrorhurtz landed in Heat L of Series 5 and drew Crusher Ming 3. Terrorhurtz's first act was to axe Ming 3 repeatedly, which, just a warning, it will do to a lot of opponents. Most of them don't grab Terrorhurtz like Ming 3 did though. However, Matilda went rogue, I mean completely rogue, and attacked Ming 3. Matilda went back to the corner after that unprovoked attack. Terrorhurtz had to be dragged free and the judges were called in. Not before Matilda attacked Ming 3 for no reason again. The judges, ruling on the battle up to Matilda's attack, went for Terrorhurtz. Next up was Fluffy, a wielder of spinning axes, horizontally spinning axes. Terrorhurtz had a Fluffy launch device. No, that's really what it was called. That was supposed to send Fluffy skywards. It even had a message written on: "Back off or die." Terrorhurtz's first move was to catch Fluffy before its weapon could spin up and axe it repeatedly. Fluffy got away and attacked the side of Terrorhurtz that didn't have the Fluffy launch device, and Terrorhurtz lost the side panel. Another attack cost Terrorhurtz some of its innards. So, Terrorhurtz was dead on the flame pit. Fluffy failed to stop attacking. Terrorhurtz got counted out, flew air floor flipper, and was pitted. Shunt joined Terrorhurtz in the pit. Next up for Terrorhurtz was Series 6, where they landed in Heat I, drawing Spinner, Lifter, Axebot, A-Kill, Spinner, Lifter, Reptile the second, and a Sabretooth, which would have had a vertical flywheel if the axle holding it in hadn't broken. Long story. Terrorhurtz's first target was A-Kill, who it axed, while A-Kill attempted to axe them. Then Terrorhurtz axed Sabretooth repeatedly before going over to the very poorly Reptile the second and axed it too before dragging Reptile the second to the flames. Sabretooth got counted out and flew air floor flipper, landing on Terrorhurtz. So Terrorhurtz, after A-Kill, axed Sabretooth. Sabretooth got pitted soon afterwards. So Terrorhurtz was through and got to face a flipper in Chronic 2. Chronic 2's team were not too thrilled. Chronic was poorly. In battle, Terrorhurtz rushed over and axed Chronic 2 relentlessly, which ended up with Chronic 2 in the corner with Sergeant Bash. Chronic 2 got free, but got pushed around the arena by Terrorhurtz, ultimately to the flame pit, so Chronic 2's little yellow foamy things caught fire. What wasn't firing in that period was Terrorhurtz's axe. Chronic 2 got free, but tangled with Growler, the canine house robot. Terrorhurtz did the same to Sergeant Bash, breaking its rear end as a dead Chronic 2 got counted out. Chronic 2 ended up on the flame pit again. Next up, in the Heat Final, was Series 2 champion and the 8th seeds Welsh lifter Panic Attack. Needless to say, Terrorhurtz went on the attack early and axed the Welsh bot repeatedly. Panic Attack raised its lifter to protect itself, but that didn't stop Terrorhurtz from axing it or sending the 8th seed to Shunt's corner. The already poorly Panic Attack, which had a whole load of dents, got a further axing from Shunt. Terrorhurtz axed Panic Attack some more before Matilda removed Panic Attack's top armour. So Panic Attack was counted out. It flew a floor flipper before facing the drop zone. It came back to life, but still had a washing machine dropped on it as Terrorhurtz watched. Not washed, watched. The washing machine came off worse. So Terrorhurtz made the series semi-final and faced another flipper, 10th seeded Spawn again, which had major problems. Terrorhurtz proved to be another problem, as it axed Spawn again repeatedly, though it missed a few times with the axe. Terrorhurtz was leaving marks with its axe blows. Spawn again was sent to Dead Metal, where the 10th seed died. Terrorhurtz opened the pit, Spawn again was counted out and pitted. So, it was in the second round of the semi-finals, one step away from the grand final, and faced another flipper, second seed, Bigger Brother. Naturally, Terrorhurtz went on the attack right away, and it wasn't long before the second seed had a mangled flipper. It was still alive though, so Terrorhurtz pushed and axed Bigger Brother into a corner. There it did die. So Terrorhurtz opened the pit, and Bigger Brother were counted out, and Terrorhurtz were grand finalists. Bigger Brother flew air floor flipper and got pitted. Next up for Terrorhurtz was the top seed and defending champions Razor, which was the cue for a facepalm. Terrorhurtz went on the attack at once, but Razor did the same and attacked the sides of Terrorhurtz, meaning the unseeded axe spot could not hit Razor. So Terrorhurtz gained gained 2 holes. Razor reversed into the pit release and dropped Terrorhurtz into oblivion. Terrorhurtz still thrashing away with the axe till the end. Still, there was a chance of 3rd place, where they faced another flipper, but this time it was a front-hinged flipper in the form of 3rd seed. He did Firestorm 4. The 2 robots collided early on, but Firestorm 4 was proving tricky to catch, so Terrorhurtz had a hard time catching it to axe it. Until Firestorm 4 drove into Shunt's corner, that is. There, both Shunt and Terrorhurtz gave the 3rd seed a good axing until Firestorm 4 got free. Then there was a serious problem, otherwise known as Terrorhurtz being unable to move. The axe was still working, but the rest of Terrorhurtz wasn't, so it got counted out. It flew air floor flipper and got pitted, ultimately finishing 4th overall. A perfectly respectable finish. Next up was Extreme 2 and the All-Stars, where Terrorhurtz landed in Heat A and drew Flipper Dantom Kia and Rambot Tornado, which had a scoop for this fight. Terrorhurtz had new armour and new team members. Tornado immediately went for Terrorhurtz, it being vulnerable to an axe like Terrorhurtz's, and used the axe spot to set off the arena spinner. So Dantom Kia scooped Terrorhurtz up and attempted to remove the axe spot from the arena. It failed. So Terrorhurtz axed the nearest robot to it, which happened to be the hovering Tornado. The Series 6 champions elected to start pushing Terrorhurtz, leading to Tornado giving Terrorhurtz a lift around the arena. Terrorhurtz got free and Dantom Kia opened the pit before resuming its attacks on Terrorhurtz, along with Tornado and Shunt. That is, Tornado, Shunt, and Dantom Kia were attacking Terrorhurtz. The attacks caused Terrorhurtz to be stuck upside down, and Dantom Kia pitted Terrorhurtz, so they were out of the All-Stars. There was still the challenge belt. Terrorhurtz drew Vertical Spinner Vader, so nice to be able to talk properly about a Vader fight, Axe Stroke Flipper Iron Ore 2, and Full Body Drum Spinner Barbarous 2. Vader was targeting Terrorhurtz. Terrorhurtz made a beeline for Vader, axing it before managing to avoid trouble until it returned to Vader and axed it into submission before turning to Barbarous 2. Teaming up with Iron Ore 2 to axe the drum spinner until smoke came out. So Terrorhurtz opened the pit. Vader got counted out before Matilda removed Vader from the arena. Meanwhile, Iron Ore 2 had got itself stuck upside down whilst tangling with Barbarous 2. Barbarous 2 did get out somehow and was quietly pitted by Terrorhurtz. So Terrorhurtz was very, very definitely through, though Iron Ore required the judges to get through. Next up for Terrorhurtz was Smidsy in its jaws and horizontal flywheel. It was also flat and boxy, perfect for an axe attack. And so it proved, Terrorhurtz axing Smidsy and the arena dance floor with no mercy whatsoever. One of Smidsy's wheels took a pounding. Smidsy got away, but Terrorhurtz caught up and would not let up until Smidsy died. Smidsy was counted out, flew a floor flipper, and was pitted. So that was the cue for a reunion with Dan Tomkia and an opportunity for revenge. Naturally, Terrorhurtz axed Dan Tomkia repeatedly, but Dan Tomkia flipped Terrorhurtz over. The axe spot landed squarely in Shunt's corner, which never helps. Terrorhurtz got away and axed Dan Tomkia some more until the flipper died. So Terrorhurtz opened the pit and pushed Dan Tomkia in. So that meant Terrorhurtz had earned the right to fight Tornado for the challenge belt. Tornado had brought the scoop again. Tornado immediately pushed Terrorhurtz into a wall and opened the pit. Terrorhurtz had got away by then, but it was no help. Tornado pushed Terrorhurtz into oblivion. Terrorhurtz did land an axe blow though. Next up was Series 7, where Terrorhurtz, seeded third, landed in Heat B. It drew Ring Spinner Gyrobot and 2 horizontal spinners in Killer Cat and Jackson Wallop. However, Terrorhurtz arrived to Series 7 incomplete, and because of being incomplete on arrival, was disqualified. So, it is at this point we fast forward to 2016 and Series 8. Terrorhurtz had been on the live circuit. In fact, if I remember rightly, it still is active on the live circuit, winning the UK Championships in 2004 and 2009. The 2009 title being over Maelstrom, which you may remember as St. Agro. Came second a further 2 times and had also landed in the Combat Robot Hall of Fame. In Series 8, Terrorhurtz landed in Heat A and drew Razor, Flail Spinner Nuts and Stretched Vertical Spinner Killy Cranky. Terrorhurtz went for Nuts early on, but missed with its axe attack. It kept going after Nuts, even after its battle collided with Razor's fight with Killy Cranky. Then Killy Cranky opened the pit, which nearly took Nuts out of commission. It didn't, but it did keep Nuts out of Terrorhurtz's way for a few seconds. When Terrorhurtz caught up with Nuts, one of Nuts' mini-bots attempted to wreak havoc, but as Nuts span up, the mini-bot caught itself in a heavyweight sandwich. Nuts got free, but not for long. Terrorhurtz was going after the flail spinner when Razor elected to pit Killy Cranky. And it did. Razor ended up in the pit too. That put Terrorhurtz through to the head-to-head stages, where it faced horizontal bar spinner Carbide. Like Fluffy, but better than Fluffy. And Team Hertz had even helped fix Carbide. It had been having weapons issues. Terrorhurtz box rushed Carbide at once, which sent the spinner flying. Carbide landed upside down, so Terrorhurtz pushed Carbide into walls and the pit release, trying to keep Carbide from spinning up. Then Terrorhurtz pushed Carbide onto the flame pit near the Kilolot, where Carbide got stuck. So Carbide was freed. Terrorhurtz pushed Carbide into more walls and into the pit, giving Terrorhurtz 3 points. Cue a very, very big yes from John Reed. Spoiler alert, this was Carbide's only loss by knockout. And no axe from Terrorhurtz. It wasn't working. Next up was the lifting scoop of Behemoth. Despite not having a functional axe, Terrorhurtz took advantage of a Behemoth misfire and pushed the lifter around the arena, though Behemoth did get free briefly. It got free again when both robots were in Dead Metal's corner and attempted to flip Terrorhurtz. This time, Terrorhurtz shoved Behemoth into a wall, only to get on the wrong end of a Dead Metal attack. Both robots got free, and Terrorhurtz pushed Behemoth again, until Behemoth got free, turned Terrorhurtz over, and pushed them back into Dead Metal's corner. Without the axe, Terrorhurtz couldn't self-right. So Terrorhurtz got a battle scar for its trouble and loss. Next up was Nuts, a fight Terrorhurtz needed to win by knockout, or it was out. Nuts was already very poorly after its second fight. Even Team Nuts weren't confident that they'd win. And Terrorhurtz's axe was working now, landing some axe blows on the flail spinner and missing with others. One of these axe blows removed Nuts' flails and protective ring. This promptly attached itself to Terrorhurtz and stayed there for the rest of the fight. It got in the way of Terrorhurtz's axe and, well, Terrorhurtz in general. Nuts had to deal with Shunt's axe as well, which never helps. Nuts then opened the pit and Terrorhurtz finally caught Nuts, landing an axe blow and attempting to pit the poorly robot. However, Nuts got away. Terrorhurtz got more axe blows in and delivered Nuts to Shunt. In the last 3 seconds, Terrorhurtz tangled with a mini-bot for the judges recording. The judges ruled in favour of Terrorhurtz, but with the judge's decision only carrying 2 points, Terrorhurtz had the same amount of points as Behemoth and were in joint second place. Because Behemoth beat Terrorhurtz, Terrorhurtz went out, and Behemoth had to fight Carbide again. Terrorhurtz returned for Series 9 and once again landed in Heat A, where it drew Nuts 2, flat grab a jellyfish, and flip a rapid. Terrorhurtz stayed out of trouble at first, staying clear of Nuts 2, which had issues going in, and attempting to target Rapid before finally landing an axe blow on Jellyfish. Terrorhurtz promptly had 2 mini-bots to deal with, both belonging to Nuts 2, before axing Jellyfish again. Terrorhurtz went after Jellyfish and then Nuts 2 before Rapid delivered the flail spinner to Matilda. Nuts 2 didn't stay in the arena for long after that. Rapid took Jellyfish out of commission with one more flip, and Terrorhurtz landed a blow on the flipper, chasing it around the arena until Jellyfish was counted out. So Terrorhurtz got through to the head-to-head skin. There they faced a drum spinner, and a face from the past, Sabretooth. All they needed to do was fix the axe, which was having issues. Terrorhurtz pushed Sabretooth into a wall early on, but Sabretooth was also on the attack. It also received an axe blow. As soon as Sabretooth got the chance, it attacked Terrorhurtz's more vulnerable rear end, taking out the stabilising tail and a goodly deal of polycarbonate armour. Terrorhurtz got out of there. Thankfully, the corner was unoccupied by house robots, but was having trouble without the tail. It was not very stable at all. Not helped by Sabretooth attacking Terrorhurtz front end. Well, that is until Sabretooth had smoke pour out of it, and it became clear that Sabretooth's drum was in pieces, literally. Terrorhurtz landed an axe blow, but by this point a wheel was down. That didn't stop Terrorhurtz from trying to attack Sabretooth, though this led to Terrorhurtz's weapons operator, Nick Lynch, getting told to wait for a good hit. And Terrorhurtz landed an axe blow, but it was pretty much dead. So Sabretooth unleashed a rogue house robot. Shunt was unleashed, Terrorhurtz got axed, and Sabretooth hit the axe bot one more time before Terrorhurtz was counted out. Next up would have been Rapid, but for a plot twist. Rapid took so much damage in its first fight it was unable to get fixed in time. The parts that got damaged was way too deep down in the robot, so it withdrew. So Terrorhurtz faced Jellyfish instead. Terrorhurtz landed an axe blow on Jellyfish and pushed it into a wall, and Jellyfish failed to move after that. The axe blow landed in just the wrong place. Jellyfish got one last axe blow from Terrorhurtz, so Terrorhurtz got 3 points and a googly eye as his battle trophy, which got attached to Terrorhurtz as it went into battle against Vertical Flywheel Aftershock. The googly eye was the first thing to go when Terrorhurtz took multiple hits to that front armour. Very tough stuff, double carbide. Terrorhurtz pinned Aftershock to a wall and delivered it to Shunt, who didn't like dealing with Aftershock any more than Terrorhurtz did, and backed away. A pushing war ensued, one that ended with Terrorhurtz getting flipped by the floor flipper, hitting Aftershock's disc and flying across the arena, losing what was left of the googly eye and gaining some internal injuries. The axe ended up in the fired position too. Aftershock chased Terrorhurtz around the arena for a bit, briefly getting caught by the arena's spikes, but self-righting. Terrorhurtz tried to lure Aftershock back to the spikes, but returned to the middle of the arena when this did not work. So Terrorhurtz took more hits from Aftershock, landing an axe blow of its own on the wrong side of Aftershock's disc to cause trouble. Terrorhurtz took a few more hits before one last hit turned Terrorhurtz over, and it failed to self-right. The axe was out of commission. So Terrorhurtz was relying on Jellyfish to knock out Sabretooth to stand a chance of getting through. Well, this didn't happen because Jellyfish won by judge's decision, and that only carried 2 points. So Terrorhurtz went out, and Sabretooth, the robot with which it was tied, had to fight Aftershock again. Terrorhurtz returned for Series 10 with much improved front armour, this time landing in Heat C, drawing 2 spinners, overhead spinner Vulture and horizontal spinner Apex. Terrorhurtz was also my pick to win the heat. Terrorhurtz targeted Apex first, hitting it head on and axing Apex afterwards, its spinner no longer working. Terrorhurtz went after Vulture before Apex set off the fog of war. Once everyone could see their robots again, Terrorhurtz pushed and axed Vulture. Ultimately, Vulture got dragged to the flame pit. Apex joined in, which meant 3 robots were stuck together. Shunt separated the robots. Vulture partially died, leaving Terrorhurtz to axe Apex until it died, though it managed to flip it somehow. Or it flip itself. Not Apex. So Terrorhurtz went straight through to the semis, no robot redemption for them, and faced Vulture again. Vulture added some anti-Terrorhurtz pillows. These pillows did not last long. Within a few axe blows, both had been removed. Another axe blow took Vulture's spinner out of commission, but it could still use the weapon as a kind of axe. Vulture tried to get away, but it just got more axe blows and lost a wheel. Terrorhurtz managed to get its axe stuck though, so Matilda separated the two robots and Terrorhurtz axed Vulture some more. Vulture had trouble getting away, but it did unleash the fog of war and ended up too close to dead metal. Terrorhurtz also unleashed the fog of war, and Vulture drove onto the flame pit. When time ran out, Terrorhurtz pushed Vulture into a corner. The judges ruled in favour of Terrorhurtz. In the heat final, Terrorhurtz finally faced Rapid one-on-one. Rapid introduced Terrorhurtz to the floor flipper. On the second floor flipper trip, Terrorhurtz had a hard time self-righting, so once it recovered, it got pushed into a wall, then dead metal. Rapid's anti-Terrorhurtz armour wasn't faring so well though. Terrorhurtz got away from dead metal, only for Rapid to push them around the arena and back into dead metal. Terrorhurtz got free and Rapid lost the anti-Terrorhurtz armour and tried to flip Terrorhurtz out of the arena. It failed. Rapid ran away whilst its flipper closed, Terrorhurtz in pursuit, but the axe bot missed with an attempted attack. So they got flipped again, chased Rapid again, and met the floor flipper again. Rapid took Terrorhurtz to dead metal again as well, but dead metal caught Rapid. So Terrorhurtz axed Rapid. Both robots got free, Terrorhurtz taking longer to get out, before getting pushed by Rapid again, and Rapid flipped Terrorhurtz out of the arena. So much for that prediction then. Still, there was the 10-robot rumble. Who wants chaos? So, in the rumble, Terrorhurtz faced three flippers: Apollo, Eruption, and Iron Ore 6. 2 drum spinners in Concussion and Sabretooth, Grab a Big Ipper, Track Traction, Spinner Expulsion, and the Hammer/Axe of Thor. Terrorhurtz, along with Thor, went off in the direction of Sir Killalot in order to attack the House Robots as per pre-match pact, and thus went out of focus until it gave Traction quite the axing. Then Iron Ore 6 unleashed the fog of war. Once it cleared, Thor and Terrorhurtz quietly pitted Traction. Terrorhurtz then chased after Eruption before the fog of war went off again. Terrorhurtz landed a good axe blow on the flipper once the fog cleared. Once again, Terrorhurtz went out of focus and there was more fog of war. Once the fog cleared, Terrorhurtz was axing a terminally upside down Iron Ore 6 and guided them towards the pit, Concussion finishing the job. Sabretooth and Apollo then attacked Terrorhurtz, but it self-righted after a push from Thor. Terrorhurtz then attacked Sabretooth before Sir Killalot went rogue. Terrorhurtz managed to dodge Shunt as more robots fell into the pit. Eruption then flipped Terrorhurtz into Sir Killalot just as the rogue House Robot option was unleashed. So, Sir Killalot picked Terrorhurtz up by the axe and carried it to the arena edge. Sir Killalot got told off, and Terrorhurtz stayed in the arena. By this point, there were only 3 robots left. Terrorhurtz targeted Eruption and a pushing war ensued, one that ended with Terrorhurtz jammed next to the Dial of Doom. So, it was out. There was the World Series though. Terrorhurtz teamed up with Sabretooth to fight Thwackbot Aberdeen 8 from Portugal and Irish fur-covered bot Dietor in vertical spinner mode. Terrorhurtz went right on the attack and axed both eyes off Dietor before killing Dietor very quickly. So it tagged Sabretooth and Sabretooth performed a one-hit kill on Rabbit M8. So that was that. Next up was Tomahawk, a Dutch axe bot that may or may not have been wielding an old Terrorhurtz axe. Terrorhurtz chased Tomahawk around the arena into both house robots before Tomahawk opened the pit. Terrorhurtz axed Tomahawk whilst delivering the Dutch bot to Sir Killalot, and both escaped, missing axe blows before Terrorhurtz landed a few and delivered Tomahawk to Matilda. Matilda tossed Tomahawk and the Dutch robot's axe snapped. So Terrorhurtz pushed Tomahawk towards the pit, and after a good hit, Tomahawk ended up in the pit. Team Hertz got the axe as a trophy of war. And that was Terrorhurtz's most recent televised fight. Terrorhurtz, so I wasn't sure what to make of it at first, but it has grown on me. And I do feel with the reboot it has been a bit unlucky, but it did very well to reach the grand final in Series 6. 4th place is nothing to be sniffed at. And I can see why it's in the Hall of Fame for combat robots. So, who's next? Shark Attack. Well, until next week, Allison244, out.